name is Alex Applebaum. I'm an FSE with F5 Networks, and today we're going to do a quick little demo of installing a BIGIP Virtual Edition onto our Hyper-V server. And we've done a little prep work here. I went ahead and downloaded the Virtual Edition onto a folder here on the Hyper-V server. It's right there, and we saved it to a folder called Demo Hyper-V, and we're just going to extract that. And while that's happening, I'll give you a little tour of the environment. Right now I'm RDP'd onto my Hyper-V server. And this Hyper-V server has a bunch of NICs, but we're just going to use 3 of these. The 3 ones of interest are a management, an internal, and an external. And actually the internal and the external NICs are actually quad port trunks. So we'll have to keep that in mind when we go look at the virtual settings on Hyper-V Manager. So if you go to the Hyper-V Manager and the Virtual Network Manager, you'll see that we have these guys mapped to 3 virtual networks. So one is the management, which is mapped to that guy, an internal, which is mapped to that, and an external, which is mapped to that. They are all of type external, see, right there. And the reason for that is we want to be able to connect to them remotely. And there's another option. You can have an internal VLAN if you just want to be able to connect to the virtual host from the Hyper-V server itself, or a completely isolated environment between the virtual hosts, which is called a private virtual machine network. So for example, if you don't have enough NICs to connect externally, you can go ahead and create an internal one. We'll call that demo internal only. And hit apply. You should see that one pop up over here. In that case, you can go, you can use this to connect to your virtual image on your virtual guest up here. And you can go IP that and connect directly with some of your Hyper-V using your IE, or if you download PuTTY onto your Hyper-V, you can connect to the virtual host up here. But for now, for this demonstration, we've actually connected them all externally. And actually, I'm going to remove that one because we don't need it. Hit apply. Okay. So that download should be done by now. There we go. And we're ready to create the Hyper-V image. So right-click, New Virtual Machine, hit Next. We'll call this Demo Hyper-V. And for 10x, you need at least 2 gigs of memory, and for this instance of 11x, we're going to need at least 4 gigs of memory. That's listed in the requirements. And we'll skip this part because we'll need to go back and edit the networking section of this. But we'll just skip it for now. And we're going to use the existing virtual hard disk, which we just downloaded and extracted to that folder. And there it is. Select. Hit Next. And we're done with this wizard. So now the new virtual machine wizard doesn't give us all the settings we need to modify, so we'll have to go edit some of these settings manually after it's finished. So there it is right there. I'm going to go edit the settings. We're going to make 2 more modifications. The first one is we're going to need to apply 2 processors. That's a requirement. And then we're going to need to change the network adapters. I'm going to get rid of this one that the wizard gave to us by default and add a couple more. So the requirements are it needs at least 2 network adapters, one for a management network and one for a P&M network. And for this demo, we're going to use 3, one for management and one for internal and one for external. So we'll go ahead and add the first one of legacy network adapter type. And we're going to map that to the management network. And since this one is a standalone NIC, we don't need to tag it. It's just a standalone right there. And the next one, we'll add the same type, legacy network adapter. And we're going to map that to an internal DAM network. We're going to map it to this guy. And finally, since this is part of a trunk, we're going to actually, it's part of this trunk over here, we're going to tag it. And one more for the external. And map that to the second network there. And we're going to tag that as well, because that's another trunk. So just quick summary. You need 4 gigs of memory, 2 virtual processors, and at least 2 legacy type network adapters for now for these versions. And we're going to, for our demo, we're going to add 1 more additional network for an external network, or an internal network, whatever you want to call it, but 3. So we'll hit apply, hit OK, and now this guy is ready to boot. So we'll right click and hit start. And you can double click on this little console here if you want to open up the console. There you go. Pretty easy, pretty simple, pretty quick. We'll return once this thing finishes booting to do an initial config if you'd like. And it takes about 2 to 3 minutes. But if you're willing to watch paint dry, you can stick it out. Otherwise, I might delete this section. And we'll just see you back when the login screen appears. Thank you.